having my regular meltdown of realizing I'm never going to escape capitalism, and I'm just going to be a cog in the machine of productivity for my whole life. So.
Right, well, speaking of other things that are torturous, I recently came across yet another anti-capitalist TikTok. TikTok promotes the heck out of these kinds of things because they have an agenda.
Shocker.
And so I have a plethora of bad TikTok content that I just saved that I don't really know what to do with. So I think I want to share it with you guys and help you laugh at it with
Spread
me.
the suffering around.
Yeah, but also I just kind of want to dissect it because this one video, which is, I mean, we won't play the whole thing. We'll do a couple clips. It's about 2 minutes long. It has numerous people weighing in and just whining about their plight under capitalism. And there's so many bad takes under it that we just have to break it down. So I want to play this first clip to get us started.
I don't want to do anything to make money. I don't want to.
I just find it so terrible that at the young age of 23, I'm ready to check out. Like, I don't want to do anything at all. I don't want to work because my money's not mine. I don't want to go to school because I feel like I'm getting a degree for somebody else. Like, I don't want to do anything. And I feel like that's so sad.
Having my regular meltdown of realizing I'm never going to escape capitalism, and I'm just going to be a cog in the machine of productivity for my whole life. So
I can't escape capitalism. Ma'am, yes you can. Board a flight today to Venezuela. Be my guest. I will pay for you. Hit me up. I will pay for you a one-way ticket to Russia, China, North Korea,
Cuba,
Venezuela, Cuba, any of these wonderful anti-capitalist paradises that you want to go to because you find the idea of being productive so mortifying. You can escape capitalism. Now, it is true that people come on rafts and risk drowning or being eaten by sharks to try to get from there to capitalism here in America. But you can go the other way. You don't even have to take a raft. We'll actually get you on a boat or a plane. You may escape capitalism.
You know, we're a nonprofit at Base, and I think one thing we should start fundraising for, Brad, is a fund where we will buy people like this a one-way ticket to a communist country, but the deal is they have to live there for 5 years. Can't come back. Cannot come back. I think that'd be a great use of our money as a whole. Like, please ship these people off. I mean, this is stupid. Like, I cannot begin, to just put myself in the shoes of being this weak-minded. I'm sorry. I know, like, I have a lot more to me than a lot of people, but, like, get over it. Good God. Like, the amount of suffering and just, like, banalness that has been the vast majority of human history, and you live in the richest country of all time. You have more opportunities than the vast majority of people will ever see, and you're gonna sit here and whine and cry about it because you can't handle it. Like, I cannot fathom that being like that excuse for a life.
I just don't want to do anything. Then you should starve. Like, literally, if you're unwilling to work, like, and this might sound cold or extreme, but I do believe in, like, a basic safety net for people who are genuinely disabled or single mothers with a ton of kids. But if you're just lazy and you're an able-bodied adult and you don't want to work, there should be nothing for you. No food, no health care, nothing. You should either have to produce and be productive in society, or you can starve, as far as I'm concerned.
Because what they're actually saying is she wants somebody to wait on her. She wants somebody to give her everything, right? She thinks
by
she's
force
idled and so wonderful that she should get sit on her ass and have people bring her everything she needs to survive. You don't want to be productive. You don't want to work. You don't want to create value in the world, but you want everybody else to do it for you and then hand it to you. Like, get over yourself. These kind of people have been so coddled that I think their brain development stunted somewhere along the way. I cannot have a bit of sympathy for them. And it's almost just like, I don't know. I really do wish you could make them swap places with people who are desperate for opportunity, for people who would come on a raft just to go over here for the chance to work. I would love to have a program.
There's so many immigrants I would trade them for.
Yes, in a heartbeat. Like, please, can we have an exchange program? Please.
But there's more. Up next.
Oh, yeah. It actually gets worse.
Oh, yeah. So up next, we've got a clip about how my job doesn't care about me as a person. Take a listen and keep in mind that this had literally millions of likes.
This is from a man, too. It just makes it so much worse for some reason.
And that this generation doesn't want to work. The reality is many of us that are in my age or a little older, a little younger, are working jobs that do not care about us as people. And I'm going to say that again because I think that's a very, very important distinction that a lot of people are forgetting. I am not going to fucking kill myself over a job that doesn't care about me as a human being. I am not going to put in a 60-hour work week and pull myself up by my bootstraps for a job that does not care about me as a person.
The most diluted part of that is the comment where it says hunter-gatherers only worked 20 hours a week. Man, what are you talking about? They also were like, he died from exposure or dysentery and like lived in caves. So
That's the only time they could leave their cave for safety reasons. No, I like this whole video. The actual tagline of it, I forgot to include, says, quote, quote, life isn't supposed to be like this. Yeah, you're right.
These people could live in the most prosperous and free time in global human history and constantly act like things have just never been worse.
They're crazy. It's like, yeah, actually life was this hard and much harder for the vast majority of people. Like, you have it very easy, and the fact you don't know that is ridiculous. But I'm sorry, hearing this man, this beta man, sit here and whine about having to work for a company that doesn't care about him who he is as a person. What? Like, get out of here. Who cares? The work isn't supposed to care about you. Work isn't supposed to meet your emotional needs. You go, you provide a service.
That's what therapy is for,
you
sir.
create value, you make money, you support yourself and your family, and then, like, go to therapy. Like, go figure out your deep void inside of you and why you need to be loved and taken care of and nurtured by everybody around you. I think this is weird. I've worked for companies, and I had some great, colleagues I worked with when I did this, so I don't want to, like, throw them under the bus, but I worked for a company that was left-wing at one point, and they were all about this, like, your company caring about you, and I was like, I don't need my company to care about me. I have parents that love me, I have siblings, I have romantic relationships, I have friends, I have community, I have churches, I have mentors. Like, I don't need my job to care about me and be all up in my business. Like, I would prefer you not.
Like, my job is how I take care of my family, and that's what motivates me, and how I establish a life for myself and make an impact in the world. It's not my emotional support blanket. That's what my dog is for.
Right, and they act like that all of a sudden under capitalism, companies don't care about you, as if,
because
like,
the government does. Yeah, in a socialist system, the government really cares about you.
Or even pre-capitalism, like your fealty lords cared about you and really cared about your well-being.
The lords really had your best interest at heart.
What are you talking? Like, what are you smoking?
Probably
I think this is bonkers. Yeah, share. Since you're such a collectivist, share your weed.
Y'all, I've had a series of fucking panic attacks at fucking work today. Like, we are not supposed to live like this, y'all.
Brad, you and I both have been very open about having anxiety issues. I have a generalized anxiety disorder, diagnosed with it. You also have anxiety. We've talked about this. I have sympathy for people having panic attacks because, one, they are outside of your control. Two, that is the problem with anxiety disorder, is that you often overreact to things that you should not be anxious about, right? People get this confused. There's normal anxiety where you're responding to a situation that is anxiety inducing. And then there is anxiety disorder or panic attacks where you're having a disproportionate reaction to something. So I'll caveat that with what he says here. Maybe he's in that category, but I don't know. Just given the overall compilation of this video, it seems to be people who are in absolute histrionics over having to do the basic minimums to take care of themselves and provide for themselves as humans in the world. Like, if you are having panic attacks about having to do basic amounts of work to take care of yourself, that's a mental health issue that you need to go take care of, right? I'm sympathetic to mental health issues, but I'm not sympathetic to the fact that you get to bleed all over society because you don't heal your wounds. It's your responsibility to take care of that, and it should not be sending you into hysterics that you have to go to work. Even having to go to work to a job you hate, which I've done many times in my past, right? I've had to work for bosses. I've had to work in situations that, in hindsight, I would call like employment abuse. So I didn't know enough at the time to know it wasn't okay what was happening. But like, I've been in some of those situations. They suck. Keep going, move on, find another job. Like, it's I get it, but this shouldn't be your normal reaction to work, because the reality is you work less now than most people ever have in history. You work in better conditions than most people ever have in history. Like, when I see something like this, I'm like, this is probably an office worker sitting there crying and whining about how hard it is and stressful it is to go to their job. And I think about my grandfather, 2 generations back in Alabama, had an 8th grade education and worked every day in a pipe factory where he actually was in danger. He actually was coming home covered in soot. He would be so dirty when he got home at the end of the day that I wasn't allowed to like hug him. He would have to like stand outside, take off all his clothes. My grandmother would put newspapers down. He'd walk from the porch into the bathroom and get in the shower. And I'd have to like go in my room, and then I could come out and see him after he got out of the shower and was clean.
Wow.
Like, kind of job would send me into a panic attack probably, but like, that's not what you're doing, baby. That's not even anywhere close to what you're doing. There's kids digging through trash in India right now. Like, get over it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, last clip.
We do not want to spend any more of our time selling stuff to people. We want to spend our time on something that feels good for the collective. I want to help people.
So, does this person not realize that no one is forcing you to become a salesperson and that you can literally work for a nonprofit, work for the government if you think that's helping people? You can work for a charity, you can volunteer. Like, no one's stopping you from helping people with your intuitive gifts, is what she writes in the caption. But something that feels good for the collective. Now, that's where you sound a little creepy there. There is no collective that doesn't have feelings or a consciousness. You should maybe try to help some individuals. But you know what a great way to do that? Work, make some money, and donate it to causes in need.
These kind of people always crack me up because they have such a fantastical idea of what their lives would be like under communism or socialism or any other economic system, right? They never picture themselves as the people out toiling in the fields, gathering the food. They always see themselves as I'm going to be the neighborhood poet who just blows people away with my poetry. And it's only capitalism that's preventing me from doing that right now. No, your lack of talent is preventing you from doing that. And you wouldn't get to do it under socialism or communism either. You'd have actually less opportunity.
We spend all day waiting on the bread line.
Sweetie, if you're at the bottom of the totem pole in capitalism because you don't have enough grit and talent and determination and a work ethic to make it succeed, you're not going to get the cushy spots in communism or socialism either. I don't know how to explain this to you. That's not how it ever works. The people who get those top spots are the most power hungry at the top and ready to seize power and take your money there too. So they're just delusional about what their lives would look like in another system. They're delusional about why their lives look like how they look right now. You are your own problem. If you want to help people, number one, selling people things they need helps people. Providing things for people that increase their quality of life helps people. Capitalism helps people as a whole. And then under that system, if you want to do something charitable, like you said, make money and donate it, volunteer your time, or if you really want to, go work in social work. Go work at a church. Go work at a nonprofit. Go do whatever you want to do as an activist. If you're good at it, you can find a way to get paid to do it. This isn't rocket science. So I have no patience for these people whatsoever. And I don't understand how you get to a place in your life where you're crying on TikTok like this.
Yeah, and this has 5 million views, 1.2 million likes. This is intellectual poison that's being spoon-fed by the Chinese Communist Party's app to American generations of youth, I think intentionally to leave us weakened and to break down our competitive advantage among the next generation. And so that's why I think it's so important that we push back on stuff like this.